I'm Justin Paul, and this is I Might Lose Some Friends.
NPR voice.
Yo, you got to. I got to put on my bathtub voice.
Quiet storm.
Your Rev Run John.
But yeah, anybody else want to introduce themselves? Who's in the house today?
Oh, I'm Shay Rodriguez.
KO from ATATF.
This is Wayne Mallory, and this is I Might Lose Some Friends.
Niggas can't read. I feel a little different about those lines right now. You know? Or, you know, like in Click, you know what I'm saying? The bars where you know, white people get money, buy a business or something like that, get money, don't spend it. I know Spike Lee gonna kill me, but let me finish, or blame it on the pigment and all that kind of stuff. It's like it gives a different kind of context to those lines. And yeah, there's just, I don't know. Like, does anybody else have any feelings around any of that? Or any like?
I mean, for me, I guess before I've always been really good at separating like music from people's opinions and like whether it's like their political views and shit like that, or things of that nature. Obviously, Kanye made it to where it blurred the lines a lot. You know what I'm saying? Like it was that, especially the last, you know, slavery was the choice, that whole thing. It just made it to where I can't go around it anymore. You know what I'm saying? I can't separate the two. That being said, I still fuck with some of the music, man. You know what I'm saying? Like,
of course.
I know that, and I know that's tough. I know.
Shay is in here wincing right now.
Trying to jump over the table.
You know, I guess I want to kind of start out with saying that I know a lot of people use the whole mental health thing as an excuse for Ye.
Yeah.
And I can't, in my full like consciousness and like in good consciousness, put that all on the death of Dr. Donda and just say, oh, we just got to give him a pass because he's going through some things mentally. It's just super convenient how he seems to have a mental break when it's time for projects to roll out. And that really bothers me because there's people out here really suffering with these mental illnesses. Right. Not saying that Kanye, you know, doesn't have anything wrong with him, but sure. I'm just saying that it's so convenient that we seem to see the symptoms when he doesn't want to do something, when he wants to get out of a tour, when he wants to drop 4 people's projects, when he wants to just whatever. It really bothers me, and I can't separate that art from the artist, because I feel like I didn't grow up having to do that. Like when Jay-Z was talking about drugs and what he was really doing to get into the studio to pay for studio time, I wasn't separating it then. When the Diplomats and Cameron was talking about running through Chicago and Cleveland and really moving, I wasn't separating it then. When Jimmy was out there really hitting people, you know, over the head, like in Harlem, like I wasn't separating it then. So why now do I have to be like, oh, it's Ye, so I have to think he's about to come out with something crazy, but I can still listen to his music and still bump his music and not think that all the poison that he was just spewing without a beat is the same as what he's spewing like on a beat. Like, it bothers me.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's like I took a real like hard stance against being like with Nightly News, the joint that we do every Thursday night. Shameless plug. Like I took a real hard stance to being like, yo, we not playing no Kanye West music until this nigga explains himself, right? And I'm still there. But I'm not going to my DJs and being like, yo, cut that off if they play it. To digest anything attached to Ye, like for me, I like, yeah, there is a kind of, oh, but it's Ye, but you know, but the question around that is like, okay, how, like, yeah, are we giving this nigga passes? Like, what's going, like, what, let me know. Let me know what you think, man.
This is what I think. Man, Kanye West understands his voice is a marketing tool. And he doesn't give a fuck about who he puts in danger when it's time to sell a product, as you said. And ultimately, he understood that we're in this climate of police brutality, racism, everything that's going on, and he put a spotlight on that and segued his music into that. That's what happened. That's ultimately what happens.
Yeah.
So that's it. That's because I mean he popped up out of nowhere and he had something to give us. That was the tour, the 6 albums, and I'm here to support Trump.
And normally, I understand what you're saying. I think that normally that works for him.
Correct. Every
like
time
he comes up and he like there's always a situation where he just like, you know what, I'm gonna create all this type of confusion, and then I'm gonna get all this attention on me, and then I'm gonna start, you know, putting out my product.
Correct.
But I think it backfired on him when he that TMZ situation.
Yeah, correct.
And I think that made it to where it was like, all right, you went way too far left. You went way too far with it this time. And I agree with you where it's like, you know, I have a very soft heart for people who have mental illnesses and suffer from those types, even like the, you know, opioids addiction. I know people who really, and so it just seemed really just too convenient. And I understand, even if that's something that you're going through, but one of the things that I do know that even a cry out is a cry for help. You know what I'm saying? Even like a false cry is a cry for help. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you still have some issues going on. You know what I mean? The fact that
are we helping him by?
No, I don't think we should help him, but it definitely needs exactly what the Black community is doing right now. Where it's like, yo, you've got to be responsible for it now. You know what I'm saying? I think before it was like, oh, that's Kanye. Now it's like, nah, you need to answer to this. You need to be responsible for this. Yeah. And I you know, he's definitely dialed it back. Like since that has happened, like as far as his going out and doing all those things and all that. I mean, obviously the music has came out, you know what I'm saying, and all that. But like, you see, he's chilled out. So that just lets me know, like, he knows what's going on. He knows what's happening. You know what I mean? Like,
has he chilled out as a means of? I mean, you heard the record on the album where he talks about he's talking more so about his relationship with Kim and her response to the things that he said during the TMZ interview. He sort of doubles down on his comments. Like, it's, I said slavery a choice. They said, how, yay. And imagine if they caught me on a wild day, like, oh, that wasn't a wild day? You didn't spaz that day? That wasn't a lot. Like, I feel like he's just kind of underscoring what he's saying. But when we talk about Ye and we talk about mental health and wellness and stuff like that, I do believe that he was. I don't think it's a ploy. I don't think it's a. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think it's a market ploy or anything like that.
Really?
I don't think so. Now, he's definitely got some issues. I mean, being bipolar probably is one of those things. But he might have PTSD. Like, that might be a thing too. But what the biggest issue that I have is I can't stand a motherfucker who loud and wrong. And like, he out here being real loud about some stuff that, you don't play with. What I've learned, I remember reading this in a horoscope years ago. You can go wider or you can go deeper, but you can't do both. And what I see Ye doing is borrowing these kind of samples, you know what I'm saying, of like philosophy. And instead of taking a deep dive or really digging into one of those forms of thinking and really trying to dig through whatever that is, it's kind of borrowing these pieces of information. So just that little bit of make America great again probably sounds good to Ye. But like, you don't know shit about Trump's politics. So what are you talking about supporting him? You don't even know anything. You didn't even vote. You didn't even vote. So like, I it's like, bro, but you're out here affecting and influencing opinion, but it's like, his message is like, yo, I'm free thinking. You know what I'm saying? I'm free. You know what I'm saying? Nothing hurts me anymore. Right? And pushing that perspective is okay. But he's pushing this perspective of being free thinking and all of that kind of stuff, but he's not trying to relinquish influence. Kanye has a really strong attachment to being influential. But it does seem like he kind of has like a struggle with celebrity. But bruh, there's this cognitive dissonance that he's kind of this is all speculation because I don't know the nigga. You know what I'm saying? So we just sitting here waxing poetic about people that exactly.
This is a full grown man.
Absolutely. So Kale, you're absolutely right. He's a grown man, and so that's where I'm at. Well, like, yo, I'm not gonna give you no passes.
But this is not the first time that he has been loud and wrong about something that has been, I guess, semi-controversial, but we gave him a pass and thought it was entertaining when he was like, oh, I sell more sneakers than Jordan. Or I'm bigger than Jordan. And everybody was laughing.
Those are very Trumpian statements.
Hella wrong. But because it was about fashion, you know, nobody thought that it could get to this point.
Exactly.
And I think Kanye is a clout chaser.
Okay.
I would take the genius title away from him. And I know I'll probably get a lot of heat for that. Because everybody wants to say, you know, he's a genius. He made Jesus walk. But if you, I was raised by a Black Baptist grandmother. So I know Jesus was walking way before Kanye. So I'm not going to give him that. Like, I can't continue to do this with you, bro. Like, I can't.
Well, I think what we're seeing with Kanye right now is Kanye has always, if you go back to, College Dropout, you go back to all his, especially like the more classic albums, it's always been somebody that has influenced those projects, whether it was, Consequence and College Dropout, whether it was John Bryan on Late Registration, Cuddy on 808s and Heartbreaks. Like, it's always been somebody that he's been able to pull. And I think a big part of what has drove him to kind of like, I don't say the deep end, but just, confusion and mass, is that those elements left him and he began to doubt himself. And in turn, like, that's where you start seeing like where you're like, are you really a genius? Are you really like musically, as dope as everybody gives you this credit? And that's okay not to say that he's still dope. He, has music. He has a taste level, and he understands like certain things. But like, how are you able to continue that right now? You know what I'm saying? When those influences are away from you, when those, those pieces that you kind of work with and kind of pulled from, because he's pulled from a lot of, like, I mean, even now, even like when you look back on this new project, the Ye project, the best song, the hook is Drake. You know what I'm saying? Like the song that they're playing on the radio and all that stuff, that's all Drake right there. And so it's like, I think that kind of is a frustrating thing for him, and in turn he kind of finds ways to kind of come up with these antics to kind of overcompensate for that.
See, I don't know if it's what to me what's got to happen soon is there's no, like, working around your issues is very different from working through your issues. And what I think is important, or what I think what I pray happens at some point, is homie got to go to counseling. And like, yeah, I know, working through music and working in your art, that can be cathartic, right? That can be therapeutic, but it's not the same as sitting down with a professional.
So you don't think he's sitting down with a professional?
He
is.
He is.
I was like, because who diagnosed him with the bipolar disorder? That's not the case.
That's a medical diagnosis, like, you know what I'm saying? But that doesn't mean that he's sitting down with a counselor. He's in his interview with Charlamagne, he mentioned, like, nah.
I thought he said he was.
He said there's different forms of therapy, but he has not gone to counseling. He acknowledged that in that interview. He's not going to counseling. And there's got to be somebody that's not attached to his success musically.
Correct.
No, like, yo, I'm just here to align with health, to tell you, bro, maybe you need to chill right now. And don't distract yourself by trying to create music. Like, Ye's willing to die for this shit. But bruh, Ye ain't no good to us dead. You know what I'm saying? Like, nigga, we need you in top form. Like, that's the person that he is. So like, but I also think that it's important for us to demand more of our celebrities in general. Correct. And whoever it is, like, stop giving passes like, oh, yo, he's a genius. Nah, let's redefine what that is. Genius should be used as an adjective and not as he's not a genius. There's strokes of genius. You may have works of genius. He may have created songs and had moments of genius, but there's no person that's, oh, this person is a genius.
Correct.
So how did you guys feel when T.I. stepped up and did the whole Ye versus the people?
I very much appreciate Tip. I very much appreciate Tip.
I mean,
let me know how you feel.
I
very much appreciate Tip.
But I felt it was a little clout chasing. Like, it was a little, like, I get, he felt the same way that we did. But that don't mean you gotta go do a song with the man and go in there and, like, you know what I mean? Because ultimately you're giving him more of a platform. Correct. You're giving him more access to exactly, in a sense, validating it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm sure that wasn't his intention, but I feel that that's what he ended up doing. You know what I mean? Because Kanye got way more love from that and way more attention from that than Tip. It did better for him than it did for Tip.
I don't think the effort was to do a record. I think that's what ended up happening, because Ye probably wanted to do a record. I think Tip wanted to talk to Kanye.
Yeah, so talk to Kanye
and just get in his head.
But that's what I'm saying. How do you let Kanye? How do you go talk to Kanye and then let him trick you into getting on the record together? That's what I'm saying. Like, he's like, oh, he probably was like, because I believe that Tip probably had good intentions. Like, yo, I'm gonna go. I know you. Let me go see what's going on, as I'm sure a lot of other people have done. But when that happens, how does that get into where let's just do a song together? Like, nah, like, we need to have a real ass conversation. Like you said, I need to sit down with you, look you eye to eye, yo, what's going on with you? You know what I'm saying? Like, how can we fix this? How we get past this? You know what I mean?
From people that we know who know Ye will sit down and record conversations and turn those conversations into music. So those 5 hours that him and Tip talked were way before the record. The record might have taken 15 minutes to create, and that's just them having this debate on record. And I'm pretty sure it was Ye's idea to be like, yo, let's just go ahead and put this on a song. Like, this is healthy. This is the kind of dialogue that we should have, right? And so I'm pretty sure Tip was just like, yo, let's do the record, but I'm not here for that. I'm here because of what you mean to this culture and to this community, and nigga, you need to wake up.
Right. Yeah, once Ye gone, we don't have another person as far as like music, within the music industry and the voice of Kanye to kind of push the needle as far as like black culture. So like when Kanye's gone, I don't see the next person at all. I just don't see it. And
I just feel like it's so many people have such a deep connection with Kanye and what he's done. So people, you know, like kind of what you're saying, like they want him to win because it's like, we all know what college dropout did for us. We all know what late registration or, you know, all these things did for us. And he created, especially at a time where it was just ultra hood and everybody was just on some like, you know, he became that person, was like, yo, it's dope to be in between. You can be that, you know, that person with the polo and the backpack and still get fly on these things. You know what I'm saying? But so we still want him to win. And I think that's why people have stuck with him this long. But like I said when we started, man, like this last time was just a little bit too much. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. But okay, so we jumped right into it. We got right into it. And we still haven't really talked about the music, like the music. You know what I'm saying? We talk about like kind of the separation between the art and all of that. It's easier to do that when your art is not about who you are. Kanye's music very much is about who he is. But if we're talking about, you know, genius and all that kind of stuff, well, let's go back to talking about the art, like itself. What are y'all's opinions about the actual music? Like,
are we talking about
Ye and like all of this music that just dropped recently?
It's a lot, man. I think we should like lock in on project by project.
Let's start from the top. Let's start from Pusha, because that came out first. And we just go through the, you know what I'm saying, the timeline.
Fire. Word. I'm all for Pusha, man. I'm a big Clip fan, so it was a good thing. I mean, you know, the fact that Kanye produced or helped produce that project, that kind of won me over. Like, okay, well, he still has a edge at producing
for sure.
Yeah, you know, when he's picking up other producers and whatnot. But that Push album's crazy. That's my favorite. Favorite as far as rap, and Tiana up there as well. But that was my favorite good project from the rollout.
Yeah, sure. Word.
Well,
you got some opinions? Have you heard it?
No, because I told you. I took a hard stance against Kanye, and I was dying. Like when I found like when the Nas thing, I almost shed a couple of tears because I was like, damn, I'm not gonna be able to listen to Nas. I'm not going to be able to listen to Nas. Like I was sitting here questioning because I was like, yo, I can't be this self-righteous and like back out like this. I can't do it. And I was like, damn, Nas, like why did you do this to me? I'm a fan. But no, I had to take a hard pass on everything Kanye. But then I was able to enjoy a little bit of Pusha through the beef with like Drake, and I was like, cheat code. So that was good. Of course, I didn't listen to Infrared, but I was able to hear. I did it on. I don't even know what the song called.
Adidon. Story of Adidon.
Yeah.
Word. Yo, it's kind of scary how beautiful Pusha makes drug dealing sound. Bro, that shit's so poignant. It's so poetic. Like, bro, nigga, I'm in the wrong business.
It's appealing.
Where's Pablo?
Man. Like, wow, bro. He's Mario Puzo with the pen, bro. Like, it's cinematic. And this is, he definitely got the best deal out of all of these projects from is this Pusha's best album? Is this his best body of work?
Like with solo
ever?
Or?
Yeah. Solo wise.
Okay,
like we don't have to. Yeah, that's that conversation gets too murky to say like with clips included. So yeah, just solo wise. This is his best. This is Pusha's best.
Nah, I mean, I it's hard for me to say yes, but I do want to say yes, but just because I've never y'all may be mad, but like the marriage between Kanye's beats and Pusha, like his authentic You know, like it's just like you said, it's just almost like a script. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like a movie, like that you're watching, and you know, and it's visually, you know, playing out before you as you listen to it. Like it's crazy.
Yeah,
like.
Man.
I tell people all the time, like if you want to tell the difference between somebody who really sold drugs, I don't know if Pusha really sold drugs, but he was close to some niggas who really sold drugs. Like, nah,
in the room,
like
right?
he was definitely in the room. He was around, like the way that the lifestyle that he talks about, like the drug dealer lifestyle, and it's not even just about the drug selling part. It's just
it's the details, it's the
details
imagery
of like, you know, this is how we treat these women. This is how we treat this life. This is what we do. Like we both like. We get tables next to each other and order bottle service and see whose bottle girl comes first. Like, I was like it's just correct. Like little things like that, where it's like the normal person who's not around that, they don't know about that type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, so to marry that with just like the production, because I definitely think that Kanye was in his bag on this production wise, and it just works, man.
Yeah, for the in my opinion, for the Pusha project,
for the Pusha,
Ye was definitely in his bag for
definitely the Pusha project. It definitely, and I think that's really what sparked everything else. Because I mean, I don't think they really had this whole thing planned out the way that it was.
Did you hear Joe Budden's like theory on the whole thing? So apparently, this is all his theory. Drake was over there working at Good, which was something that we could kind of deduct from the beefs or whatever, the back and forth. And Drake let Ye hear, you know, some of his album, including March 14th. So he tells them, I got a June date. And then Kanye's like, oh, you got a June date? Bet all my niggas is coming out in June. I'm about to basically like debo your month. Like it's about to be over for you. Let's Pusha here March 14th. And now Pusha got the ammo for W.
I don't
But Drake breaks it down. Like in the album, it's not Ye, but it's Ye. Like that's who he's talking to.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt.
So
I want to save that though.
If we go back to let's go back to the Life of Pablo rants when Kanye was talking about, yo, I'm tired of hearing Drake on the radio all the time and all that blah blah blah. That real estate combo that Pusha T also ran with, like that's real deal shit. Like he wants to be in the chart. Just goes back to you know, Kanye wanting to be number one. So of course, you know, he heard that Drake was gonna come out in June. It's like, okay, I want to come out as well. And
it's different if you hear Drake is coming out in June versus Drake telling you I'm coming out in June. You're a fucking snake. You're a snake.
But I mean, it's also a situation of Drake like getting these big deals to put out his projects as well. Like Kanye, like nobody's really tripping on Kanye like that. You know, in the sense of like, hey, take this deal to put out your project here. Like even we heard rumors about, you know, Tidal owing him money, but yet his albums are still sitting on Tidal. So it's like, you know, where do we kind of figure out what's actually going on, man? And I just feel like it's a lot of fight for that top space. Like Kanye, you can't compete with Drake anymore. That's just what it is.
And I think that's more than he needs. That's more than anything that he needs to accept. Like, like when it comes, like Drake came, he surpassed, he got the torch. It's okay. Like you could still live. You're still you know, you up until this point, you still had, you know, a body of work that was flawless.
Correct.
You still had a fan base that was like riding with you. Like it's all right. You don't have to be the number one nigga like all the time. You know what I'm saying? But I think that's something. I think that really mentally fuck him. Because if we go back to when it was said that Kanye sabotaged Drake's first video. You know what I'm saying? Like it was like.
Did he not?
I mean, and you know, it's like during that time, I was like, nah, Kanye ain't do it. But the more and more like time passes, I'm like, Kanye really might have just been like, I'm about to give you this shitty ass video that's just gonna like.
What video has he done since?
None.
Like that was like a little out of nowhere right there, you know.
All right. So, how do y'all feel about the Ye album? The Ye before Kids See Ghosts.
Very mediocre. Some mid.
Yeah, that's a mid grade. That's some Reggie.
We being honest here, and like the thing with me is we talking about Kanye West. College dropout, late registration. Like I don't want to hear the whole Jay-Z line. You want my old shit? Go listen to my old album because Jay-Z made better albums. In a newer sense than his old album, so we can't use that for Kanye. I can't. That's why I can't give Kanye a pass. It's musically. It's like, yo, you're gonna be Kanye. You're gonna put me through all this BS. You better come with some heat. Like that Ye album was some mid. It was horrible, man. Like yo, it's not good. It's even with it only being 7 songs. You you're gonna give me some. You're allowing every other artist being able to put out music that's better than yours.
Yeah.
That's scary to me.
Yeah.
It's like, yo, Kendrick discography really might be better than yours in the long run. It's looking like that. Kendrick has no bad album.
Nah.
And I don't see him slowing down because they get the process of making music.
Yeah. Let's, as far as talking about like processes of making music, we're about to kind of go on a little bit of like I'm gonna go kind of left for here. TDE, bruh, they do shit so well, dog.
That's the best rap label out right now.
Bruh, they do shit so well. Like the attention that is paid to each artist project and the push behind for every single artist that's attached to the label, bro. They just do it right. They just get it, man.
But it's because they don't have that microwave culture over there. Like I feel like they really are about really getting in like a conventional oven, really cooking, really, artist development. Like SZA was over there snapping because she was like, she just didn't understand why she still had to be in that process of artist development. But then look what happened when SZA got out the oven. Like, the project was amazing.
Yeah.
I think J-Rock had to be sacrificed a little bit initially, but then they realized like, okay, this is what the formula is.
Right. Word. So I don't see that same kind of thing. I'll be honest. I don't see that same kind of like, that's that incubation of the music happening or with good music right now. Right. And to me, like the Ye album is an example of like, that album was written in like 5 days,
Well, and they said that because Charlamagne said the album that he heard when that Ye played from him during that interview was not the album that came out. You know what I'm saying? So it was just like, and that's what makes me think that after that whole TMZ thing happened, he just was like, all right, I might have went a little too far with this. I need to clean this up and dial it back, and that's what we got. We getting Ye, which is
that's the thing that makes me wonder is what was that nigga saying on that shit?
Right, exactly.
Before this TMZ interview came out, what was he saying on there?
Right, exactly.
Like the music what are these opinions that we didn't get a chance to hear? What's really there?
Right.
I think we'll get another Ye album for sure.
Yeah, I mean,
and another Drake album.
Yeah,
and another Nas
I feel
album.
Drake swapped up his album as well.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
But don't you think Nas had to have swapped out his album too, right? Just because 2 years ago he was saying the album was done. Yeah. 12 months ago, Jungle said the album was done. Yeah. So like now all of a sudden, I don't believe Ye was producing this 2 years ago. Like I just don't.
Nah.
I really think we didn't need a Nas album. Like Life is Good should have been
Life was
I'm
good.
A huge Nas fan.
Life was good, my shit, man.
He fell victim to the internet. We want a Nas album. And it's like, Life is like, what else do you have to say after Life is Good? Like that was your 444.
Yeah.
So you think Jay is done or Jay should be done?
No, I think after this Beyonce,
or he can be done.
Yeah, Jay can be done after this Beyonce and Jay project. Like they can fall back. What they're doing for Black culture as far as musically, like I don't think people will respect that until later down the line.
Oh shit, I love it. Yeah. I love it.
I mean, as far as for Nas, I'm not mad at coming out. I mean, I'm always going to support a Nas album, and I'm always going to be like, okay, give me another one. But my thing with Nas is like, if you in the zone, like be in the zone. You know what I'm saying? If you like don't, I think it was more of a lazy play. Like, I'm really like I got all these bars and stuff like that. Yeah, you just make the album. You know what I'm saying? Like the album isn't coming out right. And I'm gonna pass off. But you do that when you become rich, and you know what I'm saying? Like. Nas is really like making big moves right now, and like he's very comfortable. He's moving in a whole nother world right now. So it's like to him, it's like, okay, I guess y'all keep on asking me when I hit the streets. I keep here, you know what I'm saying? But you can't, like, you got to have some fire behind it. It's got to be like a reason, like, okay, something sparked me to make this album. That's the album I want to hear from you. Like,
I came across this meme that was like, there's not a rap legend with more bad albums than Nas.
Man, it's sad.
Damn, that's some real shit.
I know that's some heavy shit to say, and I'm saying it not. Look at Nas is my favorite rapper. Nas is my like top of the top. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, but. That's a fact, bro. That's big facts.
He has made some questionable plays, just like in general. Man. Like we won't say that he has not, but I just feel like this one for me, it just hurt because I don't understand how the same Nas who was doing. I'm sorry, I'm harping. I know. I'm breathing over here.
I'm breathing.
Who can do that? I know I can be what I want to be. Celebrity Apprentice, The Devil Show. Shout out to Africa, Mexico. And then you hook up with a nigga who just said slavery was a choice and I'm wearing a MAGA hat to turn this shit around. Mm-hmm. I don't get it, you guys.
I mean, even prior to the album coming out, Nas did not say one thing about the album. And at one point in time, I was my homeboy Knox, who's a part of the Olympics, he's real cool with the cats over at what's that DITC with Big L.
Yeah, digging in the crates.
Like,
yeah,
you know, Knox made a post and said, "Can't wait for this Nas album."
Mm-hmm.
And I forget who was from DITC came out and he was like, "You don't see Nas talking, right? Watch it." So I'm like, I wonder is this like Kanye like bogarting himself into doing the Nas project because Jay went to No ID, which is Kanye's big dog, to do 444. I mean, they do things out of spite now.
That's
true indeed.
Another thing I was wondering, like, do you guys feel like that Jay came through and was just like, nah, let me slow this shit up real quick, man? Like,
yes.
Was that like a purpose?
Yes.
That monkey wrench?
Like, y'all doing a little bit too much over there. Like, let me slow this up real
Petty
quick.
Murphy.
On a Saturday.
Teddy LaBelle.
I'm here for the petty.
You put that joint on a Saturday. I was like, oh, what's going
Yo.
I'm sitting over here like, check this nigga. Yes. Finally.
Man,
I mean, it's just interesting because I feel like I personally don't, only because I feel like those types of things, they're very much more organized. And I'm sure that they planned, like the tour was planned 6 months to a year ahead of time. I'm sure they knew they were going to put out an album to support, because like,
who you talking about? J&B?
Yeah.
Like,
you know what I'm saying? And I think that like, we were just like, we're on tour. This is when we're going to put it out. It just so happened that like, now you motherfuckers want to start putting out all this stuff. We're not going to change up. We got a whole tour plan
for
around
sure.
this. You know what I'm saying?
No,
like,
I remember like reading something like there was like some kind of like Jay was kind of giving like some advice on success, and it does this occasionally, but not often. So when Jay drops those kind of gems, you got to save them. And one of the things that I remember him saying was like, "Yo, always play your hand. Don't try to play anybody else's." And that's been one of the things that's been like a superpower move for Jay, is that he just plays the game his way. Like, you know, he kind of responds to the energy and makes sure that he's like, you know, he's very aware of the time. I'm not saying that, but he's on his own timeline. And him and B, I mean, what the fuck? Like,
the J and B.
Yeah, like I don't worry about nobody else.
Exactly.
So yeah, so I don't think it was a move to be like to do anything out of spite. Right. I don't think so. But I also don't think they cared.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's just like we're gonna move how we want to move.
On that the Jay line of things, what do y'all think about him kind of voicing his frustrations about artists not wanting to work with him in regards to Tidal? Like, do you think that he's like valid in feeling that way, or like as an artist, like do you think you would sign up to, just because I'm gonna say like something like a surprise release, like if I was Nas and you do that shit, and I think Nas's album dropped like a couple days before.
It dropped like the day before.
Yeah.
Wasn't it? Like,
Thursday night.
Yeah.
I would kind of feel a certain type of way. Like, oh, you want me to put my shit out on Tidal, but then you go and do the surprise drop shit, and you know, like, mine been, like, the anticipation been building up for me to put something out, and then you want to go ahead and drop your shit, but now it's still, well, nobody wants to work with me. Like, you low-key, like, cannibalizing me, and, like, you sabotaging me, and I don't know. Like, I don't know how I feel about that. Like, can you be an artist? I have this issue with like publicists, right? Like publicists that like want to be in the limelight but still want to be somebody else's publicist. Can you be the artist and the, you know, the business behind it, pushing behind it at the same time?
Jay's narrative over for a long time, but particularly right now, it's been ownership. And like, it's like, nigga, y'all gotta get on my page. Like, look at what I'm trying to do for us. Like, not just for me. Yeah. And so like that's been the message from Jay for a while, but it's become more dense as of these last two albums, from 444 and for this album with B. That message has been really clear. So yeah, I personally understand, like, for him to feel spited, like for him to feel slighted for people not, you know, like working with him. Like, you know, niggas rather work for the man than to work with me.
If you gonna put your album out 2 days after mine, yes. You can't wait till next Saturday? You running your own shit, you can't wait till next Saturday?
But nah, it's still if we're talking about this culture and we're talking about our people, it's still a win. Like why would you not want to build up a platform like Tidal and continue feeding more content to Tidal? You know what I mean?
I don't think that I don't know, but that line was necessarily about just artists. I think it was just in general. I think Jay's in the business world, and he's kind of one of those people who's putting these deals together, and whatever the situation may be, you know what I mean? And then like, so I think that a lot of times, because he followed up where it's like, y'all want to try to act like y'all got what I have, like, it's no comparison. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mm-hmm.
I'm on a whole nother, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, like we can break bread together. Whether it's, you know, like the situation you talked about on 444 with I forgot the guy's name that was over the Prince estate, where it's like, you know what I mean?
McMillan.
Yeah, like, you know, like you out here like Prince. I had a personal deal with Prince, and then you come into the situation, and you know, so I think it's a lot of those type of things that are happening with him, because you know, people are more so like, oh, I need to shine just as much, or I need to make sure, like, you know what I'm saying, like, you ain't about to sun me. But it's like, I'm not trying, like, we let's break bread. I got it, you know what I'm saying? I'm that guy, you know what I'm saying? But I'm not trying to come in here and sun you. Let's just break bread together, you know? I don't know though, but I mean, again, even with the artists though, it still can be a situation where I do feel more artists should support Tidal in some type of way.
It'll be later down the line.
Yeah,
like, it's gonna be.
It is.
Yeah, it's gonna. I mean, it's inevitable.
Yeah,
like people understand it a little later down the line. It's too much in the now, right now, and a lot of people. I don't want to say a lot of people, but a lot of artists don't understand the business of being able to control your own shit at your own pace and your own time, and creating your own rules. So,
but he's planting the seeds though. Like, I mean, that's the most important part. Like, I think it's never going to happen right away. I think when he did with 444, I think a lot of people took note, and a lot of people are bossing up on their own level. Like, you look at people like Nipsey Hussle, you look at people like, you know, even like people like Wiz, Currency, all the, like those dudes have like put themselves in position. Even situation like here in Atlanta, like people like 21 Savage and stuff like that. Like, them people are really bossing up and really like taking note and like, yo, I'm about to buy it. Like, you seeing people buying art, you seeing people buying property, you seeing people, all the black people, you know what I'm saying? You seeing like 2 Chainz owns pretty much all type of shit down in over there in Castleberry. You know what I'm saying? T.I. is buying up Bankhead. Like, it's just, and that's all. And I think that narrative was planted by Jay-Z. You know what I'm saying? And I think more than anything, that's the most important, you know what I'm saying, part that needs to happen, you know?
Let me ask this question as well. I mean, it's on topic, but it goes back to speaking on Drake. You know, with this project they just put out, with that being his last project on Cash Money, what do you think Drake's next move?
Well, that's a really good question, bro. That's a really good question.
He's about to cash out. I know.
Yeah, I think it's time to go fuck with Hov.
I mean, I don't even know if I don't think Hov can give him as much money as Apple's going to throw at him.
I think he understands the benefit of, you know, messing with.
Yeah. I mean, I would love to see that. I really would love for him to do that. But I think Apple's about to throw such a crazy bag at him.
But he complained about Apple on that Family Feud freestyle.
Did he?
Remember, he's like, yeah, I want percentage of the company in general. Apple can't do that. Jay can from Tidal. So that's why I'm like, all right, what's going on?
I still think, I don't know, I think it's too much ego there.
Yeah.
Between the two of them?
Yeah, especially with Drake. I think it would be too much ego there for him to concede and really do business
So what about the fact that Jay-Z's verse was on Drake's album? That verse had to be cut a day before it came out. He's talking about X's death.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I think that was another shot at Kanye. Yeah, I think he was being petty.
just throw it.
Oh, man.
No, Jay-Z is the fuck petty. Like, but we know this. He been petty. Like, Jay been petty.
No, he's a master of the subliminal. Like, he created.
For sure.
He created, perfected, and like gave niggas like the rule book on how to subliminally diss somebody or put a message out there or make somebody be petty without having to be petty. You know what I'm saying? Like, he definitely. So I wouldn't be surprised, you know, if he did. But I mean, I do also think that Drake, as much as he, out of all the people that he kind of complains about and kind of, you know, in a sense cries about on this album about not like living up to their expectations as like they used to be his idols, I think Jay's the one that has. You know what I'm saying? Like of all those people, Jay's the one who's like, okay, you're still exactly what I, you know what I'm saying? And he's got to respect that. Like, he's got to, you know, understand, because I can see, like you say, you looking at people like Kanye, it's like, bro, I'm over here writing for you. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, you were Kanye West to me. You know what I'm saying? Especially for, like, Drake is a direct reflection of what Kanye represented when he came out.
For
you know
sure.
what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, and you know, there would be no Drake without Kanye, to be honest with you.
For sure.
You know,
I'm breaking speed records on roads these niggas paved. Like, that's you know what I'm saying? That's in that Drake album. Like,
absolutely.
Yo, like, I know who came before me, but like I know what you took it from 0 to 60. I took it from 60 to 100. Though. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right. And it's got to be, and it sucks though, man, because I can only imagine how it feels when you got like these people that you really look up to, and it's like, man, y'all out here looking bad. Y'all out here being petty, and y'all out here doing crazy shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, especially this Kanye stuff. You know what I'm saying? So Drake, I guess we can go into like how do you guys feel about this last Drake album?
The Drake album,
the Scorpion album,
Switch Up album.
I personally I love it. I like the album a lot. I've heard people kind of gripe about that album is too long, but like that's like being like going to a buffet and be like, yo, it's too much food. Well, nigga, eat the shit that you like. Like you ain't got to eat everything. The album is really good though. Like the raps that are on there are really really dope. There is. Because of the Quentin Miller shit, there is always that like, but is that your pen though? Right? But is that really you though? So, but the album is fire, and but yo, the beef between Drake and Pusha, that shit is small potatoes. Mm-hmm. There's so many yay shots in this album.
There's hate.
Did you see this freestyle that came out yesterday?
Yes.
That's yay again.
Yes.
Okay, he wants yay.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, out the way.
And so that's the thing is that with the Pusha Drake shit, it was like Pusha just kind of controlled the narrative. I applaud for Pusha for how like he kind of is real surgical summer shit, and it was real nip tuck and then sewed it right back up. But when Duppy is aiming shots at Ye, because that's where the real relationship is. Pusha and Drake ain't got no relationship whatsoever. Like. And so there's that animosity, like it's sort of like a sibling rivalry, but it's deeper than that now. We're like, yo, like there's an issue now. Like if I'm Drake, nigga, I want to fight Kanye.
Yeah.
He taking the 50 Cent approach right now.
It's really like this. Like Pusha is like, I want all the smoke. I want all the smoke. And Drake is like, nigga. this is who I want.
Yo,
like you're
for real.
Like, and you can't Pusha has nothing to lose, so
Pusha has nothing to lose. Pusha has nothing to lose.
Like that's just
like no, Pusha through that whole beef. The nigga Pusha is playing Joker the whole time, like Heath Ledger Joker. Like nigga, I don't mind being the bad guy. Do you, nigga? Come get in here with me. Right. Like, and it's oh my god, it was nasty. But as far as the beef goes, it made it. As much as I love Pusha's album, the beef with Drake made it kind of dampened my listening experience for that album, because after it came out, the nigga Pusha's on this press run and talking about Drake most of the time. It's like, by the way, my album is out. Like, nah, nigga, your album should be the main kind of meat of this conversation. Mm-hmm. But it was like mainly these interviews where he talking about Drake for such a long time. And it's like, but that kind of made me feel like...
So Drake should have sent the invoice, is what you're saying. The invoice was the right move for Drake to do. He should still collect it.
You got to remember, too, though, like, Pusha had to go exactly how he had to play exactly how he played it, because if you like, Drake was really like, when the Duppy thing came out, like everybody was, oh, Pusha's done, like it, you know what I'm saying? And it was like, and if you go back, the same with the Meek Mill situation, all that, I mean, the writing was on the wall. It's like, okay, I'm not about to let this happen. You know what I'm saying? I gotta go in here and I gotta go for the jugular. And the fact that, again, I really fuck with the Drake album, but you cannot sit here and then play in these arenas and be the tough talker and then be the like, oh, I got these bars, I'm running this shit, and talk all this tough stuff, and then you get on the album, and then, or when somebody brings it to your front door, the way that Pusha did, you can't sit there and be like, oh, you lucky I'm settling into my nice guy role. Like, really? Like, you know what I'm saying? Or like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I couldn't believe that. And I fuck with Drake. You know what I'm saying? I'm a Drake fan, but you can't do that. You got to get in there. And if you take an L, take your L. Just take your L.
I think he did. I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
You know, like on some, like man to man, like if it's got to fuck with your ego to feel like, yo, I got to get out here and do some explaining because of another nigga. Like, I got to get out here and explain myself because of this blackface picture because of this nigga. Yeah. I got to get out here and explain to my fans about this. I'm hiding a child. Like, I got to get out here and explain this stuff. Like, Drake has never been in that position where somebody else is kind of controlling the narrative and he had to respond to their energy. And so it was definitely a new play. Like, Drake might have PTSD behind that shit.
Oh, no, it
no, bro, that shit was traumatic, dog. Like, he had to sit down. His album might have come out sooner than that. He had to sit down for a month. Mm-hmm. And rework like some of them records and write new shit. Oh, for sure.
He had to.
He definitely changed some. He definitely changed up some
so
stuff.
what about this? Like, Jay Prince said it was dead, right? And Drake is pushing the narrative like he still want Ye. Like, so how do we judge his character now?
Like, I can't. I like the whole Jay Prince thing. and I understand he's an OG in the game, and I understand he's probably, he's like somewhat of a mentor to Drake, but you can't like for Drake, like you can't come in here and say that like this whole thing is dead. Drake needs to say that he's dead. Like you know what I'm saying? Like you're a grown man, and that's what I'm saying. Where it's like all the way up until this point, like you had all these tough raps about like how you bodied this and did this, and you done fought these wars and all that stuff. And then when it gets to a point where it's like, oh shit, you know what I'm saying? Like then you hide behind this, and it's like it's just too convenient. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And it's like, but then on top of that, he had a song that was going to destroy their career.
Yeah, see, I don't want to hear nothing about this mythical, magical.
That's what I mean by take your L.
No, I don't want to hear nothing about this mythical, magical unicorn record that we never fucking heard. Like, nigga, where this shit at?
Right,
where's the beef, nigga?
Exactly. And it's okay if you don't. I get it, because Pusha really put you in a corner to where you really couldn't do much.
Right.
But just own it. You know what I'm saying? Just own it. Just own it, man.
On behalf of 40, I expected you to at least say something.
Yeah, bro.
Correct.
He gotta fight that nigga for that line. The line about 40, you gotta, and like, yo, I hate to be the guy, like, I'm not trying to justify street action, but y'all just go ahead and shoot the fair one.
So because deathmatch style.
Like, he said, like, the stuff, like, yo, push a TMZ, nigga. Like, he aired the nigga out, nigga. Tabloid T, like, damn. And so, but the line that was, to me, that was like, oh shit, was the shit that he said about 40. Yeah, that was the line where it's like, oh shit, like
it's real.
Like is Pusha like, because we talk about rap beefs, we talk about rap battles, and you always want to bring up things like Biggie and Pac. That was totally different. Them like that, like Pac was ready to get physical.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's where that was at. So like I don't like comparing rap battles to that type of shit.
Right.
But that line, you know what I'm saying? Like that took it Pac level.
Right.
Like was like, oh, that was a Pac level insult. And so it was like, damn, nigga, are you really like willing to go there? Yeah. Is that what time it is? Because it didn't seem like it was. Like it was like I thought this shit was just I thought this was just a sport.
But see, that's why you have to be that way with Drake. Because Drake is so witty, he's so he's so cunning with like his metaphors and all that. And on top of that, he has public opinion. Everybody loves him. Everybody. So it's like, you know what? Like you gonna come into the pig pen. You gonna come into this dirt. You know what I'm saying? Like you have to go. Pusha played it the only way that he could have played it. Because any other way, he wouldn't have been able to do it. You know what I'm saying? Like he would have been done.
I think that says a lot about how OVO just as a whole affects the culture as well. Because niggas, we went by to think about his mom. We was like, damn, then think about the Steve Harvey suits. We was like, oh, that's funny. But Wendy Williams already did that. But then it was like, you came at 40? No,
like, 40 don't hurt nobody, yo. 40 had to sit down. He don't hurt nobody, man.
Exactly. Like, that's a casualty. So, I don't know. Like, I thought at least he was going to say something to address that. But then for 40 to just pop up and be like, well, coincidentally, like, it is World, like, MS Day. Yeah. So, it's just like, damn, that's the response. Like, that's sad, bro.
Yeah.
That's sad.
Like Pusha said, you open the door with you mentioning my wife.
It's over with the gloves
like, you know what I'm saying? And you go, if you want some street shit, like, we gonna keep it man to man. But the minute that you come at, my mom, you come at my wife, my family, it's off. Like, all bets are off. And I just think, again, Pusha being that person who's super authentic and super true to the code. Like, I don't think if Drake hadn't mentioned his wife, I don't think it would have been that. We would have heard that 40 line. You know what I'm saying? He still would have had some dope things to say. He probably would have still exposed the whole baby thing and the blackface thing and all that. But I mean, more than anything, I think the biggest part of that diss was how he just kind of like dissected Drake in his battle with ethnicity. You know what I'm saying? With his being black and trying to be accepted by because if you look at things, I pay attention a lot to where Diddy's always talking about this black excellence thing. Yeah. Drake felt the way about him not being considered black excellence and him not being considered, you know what I'm saying? And I think that's something that's been with him for a long time. Pusha picked up on that and exposed that, you know what I'm saying?
So here's the thing though, man. I feel like I may feel a little bit differently about this than some people. So as much as I give Pusha his props for controlling the narrative, I do feel like half the truth is still kind of a whole lie. Like trying to make Drake sound like he a deadbeat dad just because you didn't know he had a kid is like, that's kind of flawed. But then also him dragging Drake through the mud for like, you know what I'm saying, the blackness kind of like, you know what I'm saying, that racial identity issue is like you saying that standing next to Ye. Like that to me that sounds kind of flawed. Like, so again, like to bring up Pac on some like, yo, I'm gonna blow up the motherfucking building. Anybody who look like, move like, sound like you is fuck you and them too. And so it was like, Pusha, yo, how you saying all of this shit about Drake, but you standing next to Mr. MAGA right here? Like, come on, man. Like, so that to me that sounded crazy. Like, you're throwing shots at Drake for the racial identity shit. Meanwhile, you know what I'm saying, Kanye and his whole thing. You're throwing shots at Drake for him having a baby with somebody who's less than favorable, but who's your boss's wife?
Yeah.
Like,
what's the
you know
difference
what I'm saying?
between the two?
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, again, so we just talking about beef. We talking about rap beef. So it's like, of course he's gonna change the, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna steer it this way. Drake had an opportunity to do the same exact thing. Like everything that you're saying, Drake could have wittily said something in a rap about that. You know what I'm saying? Like I mean, but I definitely agree. I think
the weird thing about Drake and the whole Pusha thing with Pusha, like, you know, bringing up the whole thing about racial identity is like, did we as black people really think that Drake was with us? Like, at the end of it all, right? While I do think Drake may want to be considered one of the best, which, you know, with the whole Quentin thing, like who really, and then after this, like who really knows? I always felt Drake was gonna go back to Canada, fall back into his like label exec role, like a, you know, a typical label head who just happens to be Jewish, find him a nice Jewish girl and settle down and be like, oh, that was a fun run when I did that rap thing. I didn't think that Drake was like, you know, like I didn't think Drake would try to be like a Jay. You know what I'm saying? Like, I never really thought that. Nothing about him seemed authentic in that. Everything seems like a character or a role, even down to the BBW or, you know, the women that he chases. Like, it just seems like he was trying to play this like quintessential rapper role that like, the role has to end at some point. The movie has to end at some point.
That is one of the things that was disappointing about the lack of response to the Pusha record. Was like, yo, you got an opportunity to kind of touch on some of these, you know, racial issues that you never have. Well, it's there in the music. Like he'll reference certain things about certain people feeling like he wasn't black enough, and then also being teased for being black. He, you know what I'm saying, kind of touches on some of those things. But yo, you got an opportunity to kind of unpack this a lot more and get yourself some stripes, like socially, for actually like diving into some of this, like this topic, and he didn't do it. And I wish, like as much, because we know he took more time to write some songs in regard to this whole situation. Like, yo, you could take some time and like dig into this a little bit. But like Drake is like, again, this goes back to what I said about Jay. I'm saying this as I'm like thinking as I'm talking. You play the hand that you dealt, and that's never been part of Drake's story. So it's like, why now? It would be contrived if I did it now.
And it can never be, though.
You know what I'm saying?
So it's like, up with them interviews. He was like, yo, he's never spoke on socially conscious efforts, none of that. Like, I feel like Pusha, like, that interview run fucked up a lot of responses for Drake.
But how was he supposed to? Like, if we keep it a buck, like, Drake is Canadian. He never had to go through the typical African-American male experience here and deal with that racism and just what our country was built off of. You go to Canada, it's like a fucking rainbow. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's completely different. Their racial structure is completely different. Yeah, of course, they may have, you know, some colorism issues like every country does. But how is he supposed to speak on stuff that he might only experience in Memphis if he really ever was like in Memphis with his cousins for real like that?
That's solid.
Outside
Outside
of.
Yeah.
And that's why, and that's why I thought it was the how brilliant it was what Pusha did, because it was like he talked about his father and how like you hype your father up. You're doing that to show people that you have some type of blackness in you. You're doing that, like you know what I'm saying. And then, you know, like, and I don't know the dynamic of their relationship, how it was, but from the music that I've said, it was like your father wasn't there. You know what I'm saying, and that's just something that he's put in the music. But yet you're always got your father on the gram. You got your father high. Everybody knows who your father is. But you're, you know, and rightly so for saying for his mom, but it's well, you know what I mean? The difference is well different. You know what I'm saying, when it comes to that. So
is it different though? Because, and I'm just speaking just off like personal experiences, Dad, I love you, but like I feel like when your dad wasn't there and you kind of get into a relationship with your parent as an adult, and like you're meeting your parent as an adult, and it's like, yo, I really kind of fuck with this nigga when I hated this nigga for all this long time. So now it's like, yeah, that's my nigga. Like, we friends. I finally got a relationship with him. Why am I about to hide this?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's not fair to him. Like, he not going to parade around Sandy because Sandy been there. Sandy the old toy. That's his mom. She held him down. But, like, my dad, like, didn't. So he popping out with these suits and this crazy-ass chicken beard. Like, you know what I'm saying? Is it convenient, or is it like, I'm just happy I have that relationship with my dad?
Word.
And
Everything's
who
a
is
little
pushing
everything.
to say, like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
So I think it's a little bit of both. I mean,
Yeah.
but because I mean, you're right. Like it, just because your father wasn't there doesn't mean that you can't. You know what I'm saying? As you become men, you've grown up, and you can't establish it as a man. Establish a relationship with him. But I definitely think that he's like conveniently used it. You know what I'm saying? To kind of like to stamp his blackness a little bit more. And I understand that as somebody like the whole racial identity issue, I understand very well. I grew up as, you know what I'm saying? The only difference is that I grew up in an environment that was probably a lot different than Drake's environment. So I understood the struggle of being like that, growing up in those types of situations. But like when you're a young kid and you're mixed and all that, and you're like, am I black enough? Am I, am I white enough? Or whatever the case may be, it can fuck with you, you know what I'm saying? And it lingers, you know what I'm saying? And everything like that. Like I said, I just was able to grow up in that environment to where I had no choice but to adapt, and I had no choice but to understand exactly how people looked at me, when it came to, police, or came to, the powers that be, you know? I think Drake is was in something where he's always kind of, like you said, in Canada, he's always been in a situation, on Degrassi, where it's like, okay, like this is your racial, identity isn't such a factor in what you're doing and how you're kind of being approached,
Yeah, just off that, can Drake ever be considered top 10? I'll give him 10 because I can't do
Artist or rapper?
No,
Not rapper. Artist.
Nah.
He can play around the artist.
Yeah, as far as artists goes, there's
So you can't give
him
top-
and Ye are in that kind of conversation, but not top 5 MCs,
I was just
not
saying, just
top
off
10
him
MCs.
being
not-
like Canadian and not even like from of the culture for real. Like, could he ever really?
Oh, yeah, most definitely.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean,
I got to. It's the music. Like I
Yeah,
feel
for
like it's,
sure, it's
as
the
a
music.
rapper?
no rap. Well, I
That's
can't
what
put
I
him.
meant. As a rapper,
no rapper. No, I can't.
Musically, of course. The man is he's talented.
It's the pop lane for sure.
Yeah, definitely the pop lane.
For sure. But but yeah, it has to stay there. Like,
Yeah.
you got to kind of keep it in perspective. It doesn't. It's not like when niggas got to question your pen, we can't talk about you in
Yep.
the
Yeah.
top
Totally.
5 MCs.
right. And I think more so that's the reason why I could never, as much as as he's done, and if it wasn't a question about his pen, I fuck like Drake spits. Like
Yeah,
Drake,
for sure.
Drake's,
Agreed.
like he
Right.
gets busy,
Mhm.
But I think it's gonna be forever marked. It's like a baseball player. Like when they get those PED violations, like yeah, like you had a great
Asterisk.
career, but it's like you said, it's an
Yeah.
asterisk to it. You know what I'm saying? And I hate to say that because I really like I fuck with some of the Drake when he spits and he gets in his bag, he's nice with it. And I do think he writes a lot of things too. But I also know that like there's some help being done, and there's some,
Yeah.
and the Quentin Miller is not the first thing. Like this, The Weeknd, Party Next Door, like these are all people who like
It's a lot.
hinted or at times kind of alluded to like, yo, I've helped him do this, or I've helped him create this in this vibe or this energy that he's got. You know what I'm saying? So,
But do you think that hurt Drake, like coming out as a artist that raps and sings and kind of creates this vibe? Do you think if he would have stuck solely in the rap lane and really just been a spitter, that we could have put him in the category? Vice having The Weeknd and Party, like, kind of slowly raise their hand and be like, I've helped with this. But if you've really helped more so on the R&B side and the pop side, does
Right.
it get muddled into the rap
It
thing?
blurs
And
the
now we're
lines.
all like,
I definitely think it blurs the lines, like, because you're right, like. He might have just been getting help on like melody of like some
Yeah.
R&B, but Drake does such so much like rap singy type of thing, so you don't know what's
which
what.
part? Yeah.
Because it's like he'll have joints that are singing, but it's still some rapping in there.
And,
you know what I'm saying?
And Party and Weekend have that
exactly.
melodic, rappy flow that can be, duplicated by Mr. Aubrey. So,
Yeah.
Exactly.
it is what it is. Hey, I'm all for the good music though. If it's good, it's good.
Yeah.
But like I said, top 5 rapper, no sir.
no way.
Not top 10 rapper, no sir. I'm sorry. Not even in top
Not
rapper
top
list.
10?
I can't because you're getting help with your raps.
Man, Drake has had a long run, man.
Most definitely.
Like a really long run to, and I don't think we kind of realize it because he still seems kind of young and still kind of new to it, and the fact that he's changed up his sound so much. But maybe 9-10 years now that he's kind of
09.
so far gone. Came out when
09. Yeah.
And it's just like for him to have that type of run, that's rare. Even greats, you know what I'm saying? Like they don't have that. So that longevity, I think, is going to end up. The more he can kind of contain that, I think the more people start to forget. Like, okay, we forgot about like this whole pen game thing or this and that thing.
Drake's career, he's had a couple like L moments. Like, you know what I'm saying? He's had some corny videos, like, you know what I'm saying? Remember when the nigga fell and, you know what I'm saying, fucked up his knee on stage and shit like that. Like, just right, like us talking about the, you know what I'm saying, his pen and stuff like that. And even now with this Pusha thing. It's a fact. Pusha won that battle, but in the long run, Drake is gonna win the war because he's just an amazing artist. Like, you know what I'm saying? So
and
it's
he
like,
could be niggas a machine. Like,
yes,
they have a real deal, well-oiled machine over there.
Yes,
it's very hard to compete against that.
Exactly, man.
Was that with Drake and them?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, and another thing too that Drake gets, they kind of come at him more. He does a really good job of riding waves. You know what I mean? He does and picking up, but people were like, Jay did the same thing.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? Jay was great at that as well. So and that's why I say, like, I think he really follows and looks at what Jay did. Because
for sure.
Drake is really, whether it's the Caribbean wave where he was on, or whether it's kind of like the grime wave that he kind of brought. But he does a good job of like, I'm gonna take, but I'm also give back, and I'm gonna put y'all on too. Mm-hmm. So it works out well. But I think that has really kind of helped him and keep him fresh and kind of people to the
convenience. Yeah. He's a convenient. Yeah. Convenience plays a super deal for Drake. Whoever's popping at the time, why wouldn't I go connect and make something shake? You got to stay relevant, but he knows how to evolve as well. So I mean, Drake is definitely that guy. But rap wise, I can't give it.
You ain't giving it to him.
I can't.
Yeah. But as far as we talking about greats and top 5 or whatever, let's have a little bit more of a conversation about that J&B album. How do y'all feel about that? Any hot takes, any feelings, any opinions around that album?
Before the album came out, I was hearing about it, and I really said to myself, do I want to hear a Jay-Z and Beyonce album based off of the past songs that they've done together? I hated the Bonnie and Clyde song. I hated that song.
Okay.
Was the record on Magna Carta? Was it on Magna Carta? Did they have one on there?
Yeah.
I hated that song.
Okay.
And I'm like, do I really want to hear? I didn't like that either.
You weren't feeling that? Okay.
Do I really want to hear a Jay and Beyonce project? And the Jay and Beyonce project came out, and I was like, I do want to hear this. This is actually pretty decent. You know what I'm saying? Like, they didn't
one of my favorite albums this year. That Carter's album, one of my favorite albums this year. Like,
real quick, I'm sorry. Can we not like start this whole like the Carters thing? Like
okay, man. We're not doing that.
Come on, that's Jay-Z, man.
Okay, man.
We're not about to do that, man. That's Jay-Z. We're not about to do the like that makes it a little like.
However, as much as like I love the album, but Beyonce is burning this nigga up on that album, dog. Her timing, nigga, I'm ready for a Beyonce rap album now, bro. Yo, Jay getting bodied by a singer nigga. Like, Beyonce is getting to it on that album.
Roll out of that too, because like it's like B did her thing with Lemonade, then Jay's comes out with the 444. Like, talk about a setup.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
It was crazy.
Oh my goodness.
Jay the GOAT. Like that's he the GOAT. Like it's no argument.
Talking about playing the hand that you dealt. Like these are my cards. I'm gonna play them. Like whatever my story is. That's the thing about the Drake and the Pusha beef is that it just showed me even more. None of these niggas is Hov, bro. Oh my god, the way that this nigga plays his shit. Like, yo, bro, I got real shit going on with my wife right now. Right. Y'all making beef records going back and forth with nigga. Like I got fucking vases being thrown at me right now. Like, correct. So like, bruh, the Carters or the Everything is Love album, amazing. One of my favorite albums this year, man. Like hearing them on that Love Happy joint and like kind of talking about them and like her timing on there is fire. But even like what they're kind of talking about, like kind of like the clever shit about you fucked up the ring and shit like that. Like niggas had to get remarried.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's just that shit was just fly as fuck, man.
I mean, I just like when Jay came up with that whole thing when we was talking about the whole new rules thing, right? Like typically like you would see like in the past when you had these celebrities, you would see when they have these issues or whatever, you see them on the Oprah couch and like they would tell the story and all that. And like I just respect the fact that they're controlling their own narrative, they're controlling their own story. It's like we not letting all this shit get out. No, like we knew, like people knew some things happening, but nobody knew what was going on. And for the fact that they came out and like she came out with Lemonade and told her story, told her how she got over it, how she got past it, how it almost broke them, and then he did his way, you know, on 444, and then for them to come together like this, it's just like, to me, the best thing about this whole project is like, in rap, it's always been like it's got to be a young man's game. It's got to be like you know,
for a long time,
and it's fucked up to the point where we've had some really great artists who ruined their career because they felt like they needed to try to act young. You know what I'm saying? And for Jay to come out and show niggas how to age gracefully in hip hop is the dopest thing, because it's like legit, that should have been LL. That should have been, you know what I'm saying, Nelly. Talk. That should have been, you know, these types of people where it's like they just they got caught up in like, let me just try to be young. And it was like, nah, get that shit out of here. You know what I'm saying? And like Jay came to it and like he's showing niggas like, yo, I'm a grown ass man. I got a family. I got this and that, but I'm still fly and I can still get in my bag and I can still flex on you niggas. You know what I'm saying?
He said we ain't holding the money phone to her ear, that's not money to us. I was like, thank you. Somebody said it like that right there. Like, but can we like the elephant in the room? I feel like is Friends. That song, first off, that song is fire. But like, low-key, like, I don't think Beyonce got no friends for real. Like, I feel like she was singing and she was talking about all Jay-Z's friends, right?
Nigga, that was a hot take right there. Beyonce ain't got no friends.
Like, Beyonce ain't got no friends.
I felt like Jay was like, then Jay started naming names like, oh, Shaka here, Ty there. And I was like, yeah, these are your friends, Beyonce girl. Where your friends at? Like, but then another diss to Ye, like, Ye's name was not brought up at all.
I mean, it shouldn't have been.
But he like that. He gets into that on Friends. Yeah,
like I'm not showing up to nobody's nothing.
I ain't
if me and my wife,
nigga. Like I'm not showing up to your wedding when I'm trying to save my marriage, nigga.
Right,
like nah. And if you don't understand that, maybe we ain't meant to be friends.
That was stone cold.
Yeah. But that's the grown man shit in those bars right there. That it's like, nah, this ain't no petty jab. Right. Like I don't have to, nigga. You know who I am. I'm big homie. I'm big brother.
Really. Yeah.
And so like, bruh, like nah, I don't feel no way about nigga. I ain't come there. Sorry, bruh. I had to miss it. Like I'm talking on this song about nigga. Even if the house burning, fuck it. I'm dying, nigga. I ain't leaving. Like Ty take care of my kids. Yep, exactly. Like nigga, I will die for this shit. Like my wife, nigga. If you're a Christian in the Bible, what comes after God? Like in your life, is your spouse. Yeah. So like, bro, let's keep in context. Like, yo, priorities. Like my nigga, I'm sorry, you gonna have to feel away. And like this we've seen several like different movements and kind of like changes of Jay-Z. You got pre-Blueprint Hove, you got post-Blueprint Hove, you got like, you know, post-retirement Hove. You know what I'm saying? This new Jay-Z that we seeing right now is possibly my favorite Jay-Z, bro. This like level of maturity, this yoga hova that we getting right now.
Wow.
Nigga, no, let's not do my nigga is so zinned out, bro.
Like
my nigga's
I like that. I like that.
Nigga, I love it, bro. I love it. Cause it's like, yo, everything is like available to me. I can talk about any of this stuff. I can get in there. Like the verse on Drake album, that shit
still lining the line with whoever won it.
Yeah.
Sheesh. But then like, he'll get out here and he'll talk like the black excellence stuff, which I'm so excited about. Like that 444 was really dense with that. But this album, Everything Is Love, has a lot of that. Like, and it's unapologetic. Like, yo, it's super dope, man.
But
like,
I mean, and that's when I say like where he's planting the seeds in so many ways, because like you've never seen this much like rappers who are coming in and showing off their spouse or in hip hop. Like you're seeing it now where it's like whether if it's just a girlfriend or whatever, it's always been like, oh, I got to be single. Like even if a rapper could have a whole family at the house and their publicist is like keeping everything a secret, doing all this stuff, and now it's getting to a point where it's like, nah, like you got to boss up and like you got Chance over here, getting married and marrying his girl. You got like 21 Savage out here running in the damn the whole
the slut walk,
with, you know what I'm saying, like. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not knocking. It's like, yo, like, that's real shit. We fall in and out of love. You know what I mean? You like people and all that stuff, and it's okay to be like that. So for him to kind of put that on blast and kind of knock that wall down, it's like, man, again, planting seeds, man. And I can never, like, as long as you continue to do that, I'm always gonna rock with Jay. You know what I'm saying? Always. Like, I don't care if he's got an album, I'm always gonna rock with it just because of that. You know what I mean? Because he understands where he's at, and all he's doing is just putting up the fact that, like, yo, this is still dope. You could still be cool. You could still be a fly ass nigga with a wife. You know what I'm saying? Like you could still get busy. You could still drive fly whips, and have 3 kids in the back. You know what I'm saying? Like it's okay. You know?
I think seeing Jay's evolution has been really exciting to me. Like just seeing how he's changed, and seeing how he's adapted, and all of that. Like all of that has been really, really dope. Because there was a time when I was like, I got really nervous for a moment. It was like, yo, what is rap without Jay? Like what does this shit look like? That shit is scary. You know what I'm saying? But like, thank God, like he loved this shit too much. Like I don't think he gonna stop no time soon. However, that album could be the last one. If he ended on that, that's a real dope bookend to your career. You know what I'm saying? If you just ride off into the sunset with Beyonce, like sheesh.
And we gotta give Beyonce props too, just on embracing her blackness, because I feel like Beyonce went through a stage where like at this point she's done everything pop to get to the platform that she needed to get to, and now she's at this huge space in her life where she can be like, I'm in the hood hollering free Meek. You go from like one end of the spectrum all the way to this other end of the spectrum, and it's like, yo, like props to you, claps to you for not having to kind of stay in that lane, and you can kind of transition into being a strong black woman, upholding this strong black man, and having this family unit together. Like that's so dope.
It's almost like the higher they've gotten, the more the more they've gone up the ladder of just success and just kind of influence, they've gotten blacker. And they've like you see Jay's out there damn near got dreads now. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I fuck with that. Like can you imagine Jay in a meeting with like the heads of like Fortune 500 companies, and you in there with dreads and a bandana, right? Like that to me, that's exactly what he's all about. He's like, yo, nigga, y'all gonna take it serious regardless. We don't have to do the song and dance. We don't have to do the jig for you. You know what I'm saying? Like we have something, we gonna come in here and y'all gonna respect it. You know what I'm saying? And it's like same thing with Beyonce. Like Beyonce is out here like straight. All like going Black Panther at the damn Super Bowl and fucking the what's the what do they call it, the historically black college that whole thing when she did at Coachella, like it's just dope. You know what I'm saying? Like I can't knock that, man.
I mean it gets thrown around all the time, a lot more, that she's the new Michael Jackson, and that's a powerful statement, and I rock with that. But honestly, bro, she's just the first Beyonce, dog. It's like we ain't seen nothing like this. Like what she is, what she's doing, the space that she's in, she can say whatever she wants right now. And it's amazing, man. I'm just it's so dope that she's using that energy. She's using, she's using her powers for good. Like I love that about it. You know what I'm saying?
Both of them are with the Khalif Browder story.
Oh, for sure.
Right.
Now the Trayvon, that's coming out this month, right? The Trayvon story coming out. Like that shit is amazing. And like you referenced to just with the Super Bowl, like her coming out in the Black Panther outfit. I remember my coworker was like, did you guys see Beyonce? She came out and like she was looking like Janet, like that Janet like Control video. And I was like, I don't. Damn, it's only 9 a.m. I can't do it. I gotta get through the rest of the day. Like I can't do this morning. But it's amazing that she's just bringing and putting that out there, and it's unapologetic.
Yeah. And you're seeing it through, and it's trickling down in music. It trickles down to people like Kendrick. It trickles down to people like Chance. It trickles down to like it's giving a freedom to where that wasn't there in music and especially hip hop. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I mean, I'm just all about it, man. I'm all about it.
Yeah, man. No,
I wanted to know before, and I don't mean to change subject, but like, how do y'all feel about the Tiana Taylor's album?
Oh, thank you for bringing it up. Tiana Taylor, that album sounds like a demo. That album sounds super incomplete, bro. She's like I'm just giving her the fucking business right now. So she's limited as a vocalist, but that shouldn't stop you from making a solid project. Like honestly, SZA is limited as a vocalist. Drake is limited as a vocalist. Like you know what I'm saying? Like you can still make a really dope like body of work, even being limited. I mean, with all the technology that we got, like you know what I'm saying, we can make your shit sound amazing. Right. But to me, like there's a lot of just like a lot of those records on there sound really incomplete. There's a lot of stuff that sounds unfinished. That's one of my issues with a lot of these Ye records is that several of them sound like a rush job. You know, that Tiana Taylor album is kind of I think might be my least favorite of all of them. Yeah, it's my least favorite.
How do y'all feel about her coming out and saying that like it wasn't done and I gotta put out a new
My opinion about that. My opinion about that is that I kind of feel it was I didn't really like that she got out here and did that. Like success has a million fathers and failure is an orphan. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, if we would have been out here praising it, she would have been out here like, y'all love that album, right? Correct. But like, since niggas is like, nah, we wasn't really feeling it. Like, she's kind of getting this backlash. She got to get out here on the press and be like, well, it wasn't entirely up to me. Like, you know, like don't do that now. Don't dry snitch on Ye now. Like, y'all are giving Ye all of this trust. Then stick with that.
Correct,
like, you know what I'm saying? Y'all are putting this nigga in this position to creatively direct whatever it is that you're doing and to produce your shit out and to say when it's going to roll out or whatever. All right, then you got to stick by that. Keep that same energy. KTSE. So, you know what I'm saying? So geez, man, like you got to hold that.
I like the album.
Yeah.
Sorry, I
sorry, guys. No, don't say something. Hey, man. Sorry,
I like the album. I definitely understand where you come from as far as like saying that it does feel like a demo, but I mean I feel like we're in a space to where contemporary R&B is kind of like super scarce. So when I heard it, I'm like, yes, another good R&B album. There are definitely some short songs on there that I wish that were a little bit extended. My favorite on there is it might be number 3 or number 4. Gotta be number 3, but I wish I had the title. But for the most part, I liked it.
You like it?
They definitely played her because her album was supposed to come back out this past whatever, and it did not come out. So,
and so the talk is that it's the finished versions or like the more complete versions are going to be used when they do the visuals for the album. So that's
hey, whatever floats their boat.
Are we really looking at visuals like that still?
I mean, we got to get visuals from Tiana Taylor. Like, I mean, that's part of the deal.
Yeah,
sorry. That's but nigga. Hey, I feel cheated if I don't get
they don't
any
hold the same
videos
integrity. Not at all. Because I mean, you put a video out that lasts 24, 48 hours. I get what you're saying, but like artists like Tierra Whack, like how she went about her project and put it out on Instagram. I think Jaden is supposed to do the same thing today.
Oh
his project. Yeah, he's dropping like a eclectic version of his album, and it's supposed to be visual.
Yo,
on
Jaden's
Instagram,
album was low-key fire.
Jaden's album was fire. Jaden's album was fire.
He's that guy. He the one. He the new one.
Bro.
You know, as far as like mentally, like he's the new one.
Man.
But
I mean, look, I'm with you, man. I fuck with Tiana Taylor shit. Like when I first heard it, I felt the same way. Where it's like, okay, it felt a little incomplete, but the more I listened to it, the more I got like I just felt like it was a perfect for her, you know what I'm saying? And she did, you know, they put her in a position to where, like, yo, it's not a reach. You're not trying to get out here and put out these crazy ballads or nothing like that. And the content was relevant. You know what I'm saying? It was like, you got a dude and you talking about having a threesome with your dude. Like, that's a dope song. Cool. Ty Dolla $ign's killing. Like, I could tell Ty Dolla $ign his pen game is all throughout that joint. Can
we just take a moment and give this nigga the award for best supporting role?
Oh, yeah.
Ty Dolla $ign is turning everybody, the blessing that is Ty Dolla $ign, my nigga, just turning everybody shit up on all of these projects. Yeah. That nigga just out here sprinkling sauce on everything. Like, bruh.
I mean, he's one of the guys, I'm pretty sure he's just a studio rat. He's in everybody's like hanging out and they like, yo, you want to come over here and play this? Or you want to come over here? You want to come out to Idaho? Like, you know, wherever. You know,
he on that Drake album. He on that, he's on Ye and Kids See Ghosts. He's on Tiana Taylor's album. He's on that the J&B album. Like, He's on. Yeah, did I say Drake already? He on a Drake. I'm like, bro, what the hell?
Yeah,
Nigga getting busy. What?
And they talking about him and Tiana may do like a joint album together.
Yeah.
Him and Tiana, him and Jeremiah.
I was about to say I need to hear him and Jeremiah
Yeah.
do an album together.
I've heard some of that project.
Yeah?
It's
Jeremiah's another one.
Ready for it. Yeah.
Just be
Uh-huh.
sprinkling niggas
Yeah,
with all
man.
type of just goodness, man.
Yeah, there's a
Like,
couple of these guys like 070 Shake.
Yes.
Yeah.
She's dope.
Yeah.
Bruh.
That's like one of my favorite artists right now. Yo, like she's super dope,
Man.
Shout out to
Super
Yes
dope.
Jules for that. And Ant Clemens
real.
too, my cuz, like he on at All Mine, at beginning of All Mine.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, super metal. The only song I listen to, so don't nobody try to come for me. The only
I was just about to ask you, wait a minute.
And I said,
You said.
I was gonna say, you know she sounded good, right? You know she sounded gay, right?
The only, I was like, okay, and this one, but he had 2 songs on Tiana's joint, and I told him I wasn't listening to it. But like, other than that, like, they got good music, got some hitters over there.
Yeah, yeah. No, they do. They have what's that dude? Valet. Him, he's dope.
Oh yeah.
Chicago, and I think he signed to good music now too.
Yeah.
He's super nice with it. And another person like where he's just like he's out here sprinkling people with all type of dust.
True.
You know what I'm saying?
True. I think that was a Pusha decision.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I'm like.
The Shake was too. Push it.
Oh, word.
Yeah. I mean, he
Dope
Jules.
shit.
Yes, Jules put him on to it.
Dope shit.
But yeah,
Dope.
I mean, he's doing what he's supposed to do. It's just I just hope that Kanye doesn't ruin the whole label, man. You know what I'm saying?
And on that note, y'all want to rap?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. All right, we Gucci. Wayne, you want to drop your where people can find you? You want to do that corny shit?
Not really. I mean, just, we out here.
We out here.
Man. Like Jay said, we don't need you. We don't need no signs. We don't need no bios.
Cool. All right.